He fought with heart, courage, and an intense will to win. He believed all of his opponents were his inferior and despised those too afraid to stand toe-to-toe with him. Yet despite the fact that he epitomized the macho code of his culture, he always remained in the shadow of his countryman, Carlos Monzon, and it took his own tragic death for the people of Argentina to finally pay tribute to. Victor Galindez was born on November 2, 1948, into a family of 10, all working as farmers in a town called Vedia. At the age of 5, he moved to Luján, where he was raised by his aunt and grandmother. At 12 years old, he dropped out of school and had to work to eat. He picked corn, shined shoes, and sold newspapers. He fought in the streets until he realized that fighting was something that he could get paid for. At the age of 14, he entered the Luján Boxing Club. "I can beat anyone here," the brash Galindez boasted to the gym manager. The owner thought he was calling Galindez's bluff when he put him on an amateur card the next day as a replacement for another fighter. Without any formal training, Galindez won the fight. Over the years, Galindez went through numerous trainers, but he listened to no one but himself. His style was sloppy and crude, but instinctual and overpowering. He won a silver medal at the Pan American Games before becoming Argentina's amateur middleweight champion and representing his country at the 1968 Olympic Games. Galindez turned pro in May of 1969. With his first paycheck, he bought a Fiat 600 and had a leopard painted on the car to match one of his nicknames, the Leopard of Morón. He now trained at the legendary Luna Park Gym with Argentine boxing legends such as Horacio Saldaño, Nicolino Loche, Carlos Monzon, and Oscar Bonavena. Bonavena took the young leopard under his wing, coaching Galindez on how to show off in his dress and cars. Galindez wore brightly colored flowered shirts, always unbuttoned to show off a gold necklace. He wore tight pants like a flamenco dancer and shoes with lifts that made him taller. As he grew more successful, he added to his car collection, buying a blue Ford Fairlane with white polka dots and a Mercedes-Benz Pagoda. Bonavena also encouraged Galindez to talk more trash to his opponents before a fight, but the young man didn't have Bonavena's verbal skills. In October of 1971, Galindez stopped Jorge Ahumada in 6 rounds, a notable win as Ahumada had a good reputation after his competitive bout with light heavyweight champion Bob Foster. The following year, Galindez defeated Avenemar Peralta in back-to-back decisions, a notable feat as Peralta was considered the best light heavyweight in Argentina and had defeated Galindez 3 times previously. The victories earned Galindez a title shot on December 7, 1974. He became the first Argentine to challenge for a title on his native land. Galindez adhered to a strict diet in preparation for his battle against Len Hutchins for the vacant WBA light heavyweight championship, but made the mistake of eating a large plate of frog legs on the day of the fight. Galindez fell ill and arrived to the arena with nausea and diarrhea. His manager, Tito Lecturi, yelled at him, asking why, after 5 years of hard training, he would eat frog legs before his big shot. Embarrassed, Galindez then put his manager's doubts to rest.
cómo llega esto. Aquí está Galindez, campeón del mundo. Victor Galindez de Argentina, campeón del mundo, categoría medio pesado. Júbilo, algarabía.
Hutchins left the ring barely conscious, collapsing once he reached his dressing room. Galindez then made his first defense against Pierre Fourie in South Africa before coming to America for the first time to defend against the undefeated Ray Elson. The WBA refused to sanction the fight as Elson was not ranked in their top 10, but the bout introduced Galindez to American audiences for the first time.
You've got to be strong. That's what Elson's done. Quick left, snapping left by Galindez. Right after this fight. Oh, a good left that again staggered Elson. You see him now. The legs wavering. Elson trying to hold on. This is the 8th round, and he's getting a pummeling now, Elson is. Galindez throwing nothing but punches, lefts and rights, nearly all of them landing, and still Elson courageously has not gone down. There he goes, almost through the ropes, sent to his corner by the referee, Charlie Roth. The youngster knocked down for the first time in the fight, the face puffy and red, especially the right-hand corner of the right eye. Roth says the fight is to continue. Galindez all over him, after him, hitting him unrelievedly. The kid is... Patty Flood is up in the corner with the robe, asking the referee to stop it. The referee stops it. Technical knockout, 8th round. Victor Galindez, the winner.
A month later, Galindez faced longtime nemesis Jorge Ahumada in Madison Square Garden. "It is not possible for me to lose," Galindez boasted as he hurt Ahumada on numerous occasions before winning a lopsided decision. In September of 1975, Galindez rematched Pierre Fourie, once again going to the challenger's native South Africa and fighting before a crowd of over 35,000 supporters. Fourie cut Galindez in the 8th, but the champion rallied in the late rounds to secure a decision. Now a globe-trotting champion, Galindez traveled to Norway, stopping the undefeated and 6'4" Harold Skog in 3 rounds. On May 22, 1976, one of his most famous ring battles took place against Richie Kates. Galindez suffered 2 white cuts around his eyes in the 3rd round. Now blinking through blood, he fought with a sense of urgency as his brother Roberto cried in his corner, thinking that the fight would be stopped.
His hands inviting Kates to come on the inside. Well, of course he wants him there. That's where he wants him to be. Kates is too experienced and too wary to fall for those tricks. Prefers to use the left hand from the outside. And look at the damage it's causing. Once again, the blood streaming down the face of Galindez. Doesn't take too much to open the wound above his right eye. Oh, a good left hook from Galindez. This is worth the follow-up punches, but now he's letting his punches go. Kates looks to be in trouble as he's backed up against the ropes, bobbing, weaving, slipping many of these punches, but a great many are also landing. Overhead right, studying on Kates' neck. Christodoulou struggles to pull the men apart, but still, Kates is back into action immediately. This is a bad time for Richie Kates. And it's referee Christodoulou who rescues him as we come to the bell. There is little finesse about Galindez. He is essentially a fighter. A good combination from the champion. First the left, then the right. Now he goes over the top with the right hand. Once again, Kates is in trouble, backed up against the ropes, trying to avoid these punches, but many of them are getting home, getting through the guard of the American. This is a big opportunity for Victor Galindez. Once again, referee Christodoulou has to separate the men, but immediately Galindez back into action. Firing uppercuts, hooks, right crosses, going over the top, anything that can land. And Kates in desperate trouble, trying to cover up, trying to avoid these punches, backed up against the ropes. And this could be the moment of truth for the American. Unrelentless attack by Galindez. Kates now manages to hold him in a clinch. Once again, the men are separated. Richie Kates survived that attack, goodness only knows. In fact, he's even beginning to fight back. Another right uppercut jolts back the head of Richie Kates, and now he goes down. And who can blame him for that? It was inevitable. He attempts to rise. Will he get up? Referee Christodoulou counts to 8. Kates back on his feet, but still in lots of trouble. Can Galindez finish the fight here and now? He's certainly trying. Tremendous punches going over the top. The American showing lots of courage and a great deal of defensive skill in avoiding some of these punches, slipping others, and now beginning to fight back as we come to the end of the round. Still go either way. And surprisingly, Kates prepared to fight on the inside. He was working from behind the jab early in the fight, but now he actually went to close quarters, trying to fire a lot of uppercuts. But look at Galindez come back. This is exactly what he wants. He wants to fight on the inside. It's an invitation he's happy to accept. Still hasn't forgotten the basics, though, because he used a couple of left hands to get on the inside there. But now Galindez has turned the tide. He's got Kates backed up in the corner, forcing the American to defend. And still, it's Kates relying on the uppercut. But Galindez takes those punches very well indeed. And the champion looks to be getting the better of this exchange in the third round. And heaven help Galindez if he's cut on the left. Well, now Galindez has decided to let his punches go, ripping shots to head and body. Kates forced to try and defend as he's backed up against the ropes. But look at the stream of punches coming from Galindez, and some very powerful blows have connected on the inside. Kates looks to be in desperate trouble once again. Will he go down? He's beginning to stagger against the ropes, and the bell comes to his rescue. Talk about being saved by the bell. Well, you can see how he staggers back to his corner. Richie Kates really unable to get away from the ropes. Well, I don't know what's keeping him up. Maybe it's the ropes that are doing that. A relentless attack from the champion. A stream of punches, lefts, rights, almost every blow landing, and still Kates is standing. Not doing very much here on the 14. Still gives me the impression that he's the stronger man of the two. Somehow or other, the corner of Galindez has managed to stop the blood streaming down the champion's face. They've pushed a lot of stuff into the gap above the eye. Goodness knows what they were using. Another left, and that was low, clearly low. And now referee Stan Christodoulou has to warn Kates about that. You can see Tito Lectori protesting vigorously from the corner. Galindez not happy at all. Saw it coming from way back. And there's little Kates can do once he gets up close. Good uppercut from Galindez. That jolted back the head of Richie Kates. Now can Richie... yes, and Galindez taken full advantage. He's followed up with a left hook, and he's put the challenger down flat on his back. He says, "You're finished." Well, not quite. Kates trying to get up, but referee Christodoulou has counted him out.
Kates said his mind said get up, but his body said stay down. Galindez had now won 41 straight fights. But the victory was bittersweet. Only hours before the fight, his friend and hero Oscar Bonavena was murdered at the Mustang Ranch brothel in Reno, Nevada. Galindez wept openly in the dressing room after being told the news. Another defense in South Africa followed before Galindez rematched Richie Kates. The fight seemed to be a repeat of the first. Kates cut open Galindez's eye, but the champion once again finished strong and won a decision. In September of 1977, Galindez had arguably his toughest title defense to date as he squeaked by Yaqui Lopez, winning a close decision. The verdict drew whistles and boos from the crowd as Galindez played a waiting game throughout. 2 months later, Galindez decisioned a future champion in Eddie Gregory before granting Lopez a rematch. Galindez fought strategically, outboxing Lopez and once again taking a decision. But the tough fights now seemed to take a toll on Galindez. He had made 10 successful defenses, but his training routines, or lack thereof, seemed to become more minimal by the fight. He continued to fire trainers on the spot if they objected to his lackadaisical workouts. On one occasion, Galindez got up to do road work, but instructed members of his camp to go ahead and run without him, as he would take his motorcycle instead. Victor doesn't listen, a man in his entourage said. Win or lose, he would do it his own way. All things came to a head in September of 1978 when Galindez traveled to New Orleans to defend his title against Mike Rossman. The party animal was awakened, and he spent more time in the French Quarter on women and food than in the gym. His marriage had broken down, and he struggled with depression. He entered the ring looking overweight and old. When he returned to his corner after the first round, he told his cornerman that he couldn't win, but he was too proud to quit, and he took his beating for 13 rounds. After the loss, he thought of retirement until Rossman insulted his manhood. An angry Galindez then called for a rematch, promising, quote, "The next time you will see the real Galindez." He returned to Argentina, spending the next 2 months in seclusion. His trainer showed him the film of the Rossman loss, wanting Galindez to study where he made mistakes. Galindez watched only 3 rounds before shutting it off. "I can't bear to watch anymore," he said. His ego was further deflated when he was booed by his fellow Argentines as he was introduced in the ring before a local championship fight, the fans showing that they didn't respect him for his poor showing against Rossman. Insiders believe that Galindez always felt he was fighting Argentina and not his opponents. Their loyalty was always with Monzon, and Galindez's attempts to surpass the middleweight champion in popularity were always in vain. A rematch with Rossman was scheduled for February of 1979, but in a bizarre twist, the fight was canceled only minutes before the first bell, as Galindez pulled out when he believed that the assigned judges had a bias for Rossman. Robert Shields, the Nevada Commission chairman, believed that the fight was purposely derailed by the WBA so that it could be rescheduled in a place that would be more favorable to Galindez. Nevada suspended Galindez for his failure to fulfill the contract, but other states, like Louisiana, would not honor the suspension. 7 months after their original bout, Galindez rematched Rossman, once again at the Superdome in New Orleans. Galindez looked like the leopard of old, working out to disco music, handing roses to female members in the audience, and concluding his workouts by signing autographs. But the playful attitude hid his determination. He was there to silence the boos of his countrymen. "Even if he wins," one of his camp aides said, "the people in Argentina will still boo."
By a blow, the crowd misread it. He was off balance. Galindez did. Rossman has Galindez directly above him. And Galindez got in a left to Rossman and stung him. Galindez appearing wild in his movements, but still effective because of his body strength. Got to always be careful with that fighter. Good Galindez left and another left. Now they're beginning to mix it up. Look at Galindez as Rossman was trying to tie him up. Punching to the kidneys. And they hurt. Or the side and the kidneys, really. Coming to the end of round 4. A tough round, a good left and a right uppercut hurt Rossman, and Galindez is hurting Rossman. What an ending to the round. The fighters don't stop fighting. And at the very end of the round, Galindez unquestionably hurt Rossman. First with a left, and then a strong right uppercut. And you see the scene in the ring as hard feelings flare. And the man in Galindez's corner coming out to get at Rossman, blaming Mike for the activity that occurred after the bell had rung. Galindez, at the end of the round, had taken command. Now watch what happens. Galindez starts arguing with a fan. That's Andy Rossman, Mike's brother, who came into the ring. So Mike went after Galindez. And now it's round 5. And we've got a wild scene and the makings of another brawl. And Galindez becomes the aggressor. He is tigerish. A wild left miss. Galindez, oh, that right got in there. Galindez is making the fight, and more effectively than he fought at any time last September. And the referee does not interfere. Then, with the weight of his body against the opponents, going to be worn down, and that lead left of Galindez stung Rossman again. He is beating Rossman to the punch. And he is punching more effectively at this moment, and Rossman is trying to cover. And Galindez has him in the opposite corner. And that's when he uses that body strength. And he gets the right in there, tries to get a right uppercut, then goes down to the belly with the right and the left, and the right again. And the punches go to the kidney. Rossman trying to cover. Rossman holding on. Galindez fighting Victor Galindez's fight as we approach the end of the 7th round. The end of round 8 coming up. Again, Galindez scoring. left, and Galindez right after him. Tigerish, as I said, pinning Rossman against the ropes. Galindez now fighting exactly the way he wants to fight. Rossman covering and not fighting back effectively. If events permit at the end of this round, let me alert our stations, there'll be a station break. If events permit. But with the action going this way, you can't tell. Saw that left of Galindez. And what a difficult target Galindez is. He wraps himself up. The head is kept low. He can bob and weave. He moves those shoulders. And out of all of that morass comes a right like that. As I said, he punches from everywhere. Stunning performance by the veteran. Thus far. See Mike covering. The measure here is the number of blows being thrown by Galindez vis-a-vis the number being thrown by Rossman. Rossman is covering. He is the defender. We'll return with more of ABC's Wide World of Sports after this from our local station. A major event. This fight seems to be over. I believe Mike Rossman has broken his right hand. I cannot tell you exactly when it happened, but it is over, and Galindez is leaping to his feet. He is now falling down in the ring in elation. They're running over to the corner, and they are taunting Mike Rossman. Look at their faces. Galindez is again the light heavyweight champion of the world, the first man ever to have regained the title.
Galindez refused to retire on a victory. Pushing the envelope, he took on the hungry Marvin Johnson 7 months after the Rossman fight.
As Johnson's torso is back to us. Another one. Good left to the chin of Johnson. Galindez with a right uppercut. Unorthodox thrower of punches. Galindez on the right with a minute to go in the second round. There's a good inside left uppercut, another one. Those are the kind that cut up an opponent. So it's a round of uppercuts here at the Superdome. That's slugging. Now mixing it up. 30 seconds remaining in round two. To the body and two to the head by Galindez. Another one to the jaw. Another. 20 seconds and they'll get a rest. A little bit of holding and hitting by Johnson now. So in 5 seconds you'll hear the bell. WBA championship coming up in Las Vegas. The WBC welterweight championship bout. Benitez the champion. A lot of those punchers are glancing blows. Don't be misled. That one was not. That was a beautiful right hand thrown by Galindez. Games. Played soccer each day. Good straight left, right on the nose, the bridge of the nose by Johnson. Another one. Galindez smiling now. They must have stung him. Victor Galindez now, as his brother, Roberto, just threw that sponge full of water into his face. Fighter has a swollen area under his right eye, tiny cut along the right corner. No problem to this point. He snaps away from some of those long left-hand leads from the southpaw. But there again, Johnson just keeps moving in, throwing punches. 6 years younger at 25. Pinpoint punching. with even left-hand leads. The referee, Jesus Salas. Oh, a staggering left-hand lead. And it jarred the champion. So it appeared, there's Carlos Monzon right behind us. Unfortunately, does not speak English. One of my favorite fighters of all time. Imagine that, undefeated in 13 years, 15 title defenses. What a classic boxer puncher he was. All right, we're in the 11th round now. They're unleashing a lot of heavy leather now. This is only... Oh, and there goes your champion. Galindez is down in the early part of the 11th round. The referee has stopped the bout. The referee says that is it, and Galindez, we feel sorry for him. He is crying, but he caught a shot that would knock anybody down.
His supporters knew the end was near after the Johnson bout. Galindez endured a bad marriage and bad investments, which forced him to sell off holdings of 6 apartment buildings. He also tired of the grind of training. There comes a time, Galindez said, after you've been doing this for a long time, that you don't want to do this anymore. Every day it's the same thing. The training, the sparring, you get tired of it. That's how I felt. Needing a change, he moved to Miami and began training at the famed 5th Street Gym. He was scheduled to move up in weight and challenge Marvin Camel for his cruiserweight crown, but an eye injury to Camel canceled the bout, and Jesse Burnett came in as a late replacement.
Victor Galindez, as we start round number 7, it looks to me like a slight cut on the inside of his lip. Nothing too big. Good right hand by Burnett. He got hurt by that punch, Tim. He's hurt. Galindez is down. A hard right hand from Jesse Burnett. And then following up, Galindez goes to the canvas, telling the referee Thomas he's all right. The crowd is on its feet. We're in the 7th round. Burnett trying to follow up with another right hand. Good left hook underneath, too, Tim. He has Galindez right there. Galindez is wobbling down. Galindez trying to fight back in there, but Burnett pouring it on. Jesse Burnett trying to get that title opportunity. As Galindez in trouble here in the 7th round. Burnett might be a little arm weary here. What do you think, Mike Weaver? His arms are fine.
I don't think just in the arm work. We're going to see that he's in top shape. I think you know what he's doing. You know you have Galindez in trouble right now. He's trying to take advantage of it.
Galindez gamely battling back. Still seems shaky on his feet. There's nothing wrong with his punching. He landed a hard body shot.
He hurt Burnett.
Yes, he
Just
did.
no trouble.
He hurt Burnett with that body shot. What a draw this has become. The crowd on its feet here. A 7th round slugfest. Galindez, who was knocked down early in the round, comes back to hurt Weaver.
Well, this is what Galindez likes, though. He likes that brawling style. Jesse ought to go back to snapping that jab and setting him up. What do you think, Mike? They should. You know, get jab out and look for the opportunity with that right hand. I think it last time. They get him again. Both of them are in trouble right now, I believe.
Standing in the middle of the ring, throwing punches. Galindez and Burnett. Finally, Galindez falling back against the rope.
Now, Burnett's back to that jab. So he can set up his other punches with it.
What a show by Victor Galindez getting up off the canvas after Burnett had nailed him with a tough right hand.
Tim,
All hot. 30 seconds to go in the 7th round.
there he goes.
Down he goes again. A straight right.
Right hand on the temple.
Galindez looking at his corner. Referee John Thomas giving him the count. And he's all right. Up in time.
He's not all right, Tim. One more right hand, he's going.
Well, I mean, he made cut up from that knockdown is what I meant.
Doesn't have a leg on him. He gets hit a clean punch now. He's gone. Any kind of
At the end of the round. The end of the 7th round.
good round of this.
Victor Galindez comes to his corner. Looks awfully weary and wobbly, but he survived 2 knockdowns at the hands of Jesse Burnett, and indeed in between landed a tremendous body punch that hurt Burnett. Right hand body shot from Galindez. You're listening to Joe Clancy and heavyweight champion Mike Weaver with us here at ringside.
in a little trouble. Yeah, he's in a little trouble right now. Just to get rid of him if we go out. I'm going to take our Galindez out.
Tremendous flurry of punches against the far ropes. Burnett wants to finish him. Galindez fighting in desperation now in this final round. There's some blood between the eyes of Galindez. It may be there from his mouth. He was cut early in the fight in the mouth. A minute to go in the fight.
Galindez has plenty of heart. He doesn't have a leg under him. He's still winging. Never give up. If the referee pushed him hard, now he'd fall down, Tim.
But he's still coming forward now. Only less than 30 seconds to go. Burnett seems very much in control. Galindez is going to fight to the last second. As Mike Weaver knows, it only takes one big one.
Hard take. One good shot.
10 seconds left in the fight.
What a last round. They're pounding away.
The crowd is on its feet as they have been for the last 3 rounds. A slugfest, and it's all over. Galindez and Jesse Burnett put on quite a show here.
Dick Young scores the fight, 116-111. Judge Vince Delgado, 115-112. All in favor of Jesse Burnett.
Galindez retired, undergoing surgery for 2 detached retinas. Needing a new challenge, he turned to auto racing, his second passion in life. A racer named Antonio Lisvece offered to sell him his Chevrolet race car. Galindez was invited to be Lisvece's companion in a race to get a feel for the car. The two made one lap around the track before Lisvece stopped the car as he was having problems shifting gears. He and Galindez stepped into the pits, waiting for the car to be repaired, when another car spun out and rammed into both men, killing them both on impact. Galindez was 31 years old. He was inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame in 2002 and is now finally revered in Argentina for the legend he truly was.